Afternoon. You've been calling, the Modi election as inflection point in Indian politics and in turn for stock markets as well. 3 years gone now, we have seen, of course, index returns which are decent, but a lot of mid caps and small caps have seen huge returns. At index level, up about 40 or 50%, and individual stock levels, we have seen, a lot of 8 to 10 baggers. But what next for Indian market from here on?
Thank you, Anuj. I think it's a very important period we have gone through, and it is beginning of a very long-term era. We can perhaps call it post-Modi era. That's what I hope in the future, how the economist and will be describing this kind of a period of time. From the economic point of view, how politicians manage the economy, only from that perspective I'm talking. So that way, I think even Nifty has gone maybe nominally, I would say 35, maybe 40%. If you take the just pre-election results coming in, if you go by that, from April 1st to the last 3 years, as you rightly told, but stock pickers have made huge wealth in this period. That is the most important factor, and that is what is going to even drive the next 2-3 years. For example, our portfolio management has created wealth nearly 200% during the same period. So that is something like, 4 or 5 times the Nifty. So that's why recently I was talking, those who watch Nifty and trade on Nifty, they are doing time pass. Whereas value investors are minting money in this market. And this is going to continue for next 2-3 years. I feel this coming next 2-3 years is a huge, amazing opportunity for stock pickers in India. And in general, I feel Indian equity markets are at the bottom today.
So, Porinju, a bit of an academic question then. I mean, with the market being where it is, would you rather look for value bets or would you continue chasing growth? And right now, from your standpoint, would you hold some cash in the portfolio or would you rather have it completely deployed even at these prices?
I won't do any of these three things you are talking. I will focus on making money.
Okay, so how do you...
By value investing in equities.
Okay, so give us some sense on where that money might flow, the areas where you still see that value.
I think infrastructure, when people talk about sector, of course, they have a big run-up, the good companies or the investable companies in infrastructure, and even some of the real estate companies have grown immensely in the last 3 years. Some housing finance companies, sugar companies, many of them in 5 times, 10 times, and 50 times, some of them. Cement companies. So that doesn't mean market is at a peak. These stocks have run up, you sell. This is what the mentality of many market participants I have been noticing. That's why I specifically told Indian equities are at the bottom. I'm not talking under 200 points here and there. Otherwise, if you see next 5 years, or say next 3 years, Indian market is at the bottom. The kind of opportunities emerging, especially in the mid and small caps. And, some of them are transformed, get into the next level. Many mid caps are moving into the large caps. And many small caps are getting, graduated to the mid caps. So that is a season. This season will continue for next 2-3 years. Investors should focus on, where the companies are in a turnaround mode. We have hundreds of companies in a turnaround mode. And that is where you can make 5 times and 10 times money going forward. And this can happen in short period. This is a huge opportunity, unprecedented, once in a lifetime opportunity, I would say.
Porinju, the other theme which stands out, and I think you had tweeted about it, and you had reminded your followers about it, is the way some of these stocks moved. Motilal Oswal, for example, from 100 to 1,000, IIFL from 50 to 500, Edelweiss from 40 to 200. This shift of household savings into equities, do you see more of it over the next 3 or 4 years? And in that case, do you still bet some of these stocks?
It's just beginning, Anuj, just beginning. I would say it is yet to begin. I had talked about, $100 billion household savings flowing into Indian equities in the next 1.5 years' time. People can't believe that figure, but I am very confident about that. Because people will go, when you look at the history, last 5 years or 10 years, some people say last 1 year they have put so much money, only 50,000 crores. How can you talk about $100 billion? This is a dramatic change happening in the economy, where the economy, moving from the black to white, and a lot of things happening from unorganized to organized. This is historic. People tend to underestimate this kind of factors happening. They will say when 500 points movement happens in Nifty, oh, that's over. Market is at the peak. Let's start selling. Be cautious, cautiously optimistic. People use all these kind of words and this won't help you. You have to take a stand, a rational stand, looking at the economy, the big picture, how our economy is going to grow in the next 2 years, 3 years, or 5 years. And
hello?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, just one more point, Porinju. I remember, on the demonetization day, I had asked you that can this market go up despite demonetization? And, you said that, 6 months or 1 year from now, people will say that the market moved because of demonetization. It's crazy how the market's moved after demonetization. But, what are the other themes you're still backing, Porinju? It's been all about domestic economy, your tiles, your cement stocks, your NBFCs, all of those catering to a domestic economy. Do you still bet here?
Yes. Domestic economy is something now people who have been betting on in exports from pharmaceutical or IT, they are suffering in the last 2 years, if you see. They will continue to do that going forward. I don't see TCS or Infosys or a Sun Pharma kind of stocks, creating huge wealth in the coming years. Of course, if there could be opportunities and they may be delivering decent rate of return. But when there's an excitement happening in the economy for next few years, you should focus only on the 5 baggers and 10 baggers. So which space, which sector that's available, we have diversified economy and so many of sectors. When we talked about brokerages, it is again a great opportunity. Some of them can still go. Some of the promoters and CEOs of those companies will get surprised the kind of profits they will be making in the next 2-3 years' time. Because when we talk about so much of activity happening in the capital market, the domestic savings coming other than real estate and gold, when they start preferring equities. Because India's population, the households, the middle class and upper middle class, people will go very badly wrong in estimating their power of infusing funds into the equities. So that will make more capital formation, more expansion, and globally competitive style of functioning in manufacturing. So that will boost the economy again. It's all complementary. It's a circle. So that is the kind of a period, a golden era we are entering in, and we should thank the government for the right kind of long-term vision in managing the economy. That is the base on which I am betting all these things.
So, Porinju, final quick last question. Some specifics maybe for us. I believe you bought Simco some time back. Any other names? I mean, I know you're looking to pick where the turn is happening, where those green shoots are coming in. And we've had so many false starts when it comes to these green shoots. Capital goods stocks, we've seen some good order book impetus come in the quarter gone by. Are you looking at capital goods? Are you looking at road builders, toll operators? What are you looking at?
Yeah, there are dozens of such themes and specific areas where investors can pick stocks. That is the beauty of Indian equities today. So one thing I was watching, some people, we have some old companies, and where that's an old equity. They haven't expanded or diluted the equity. It's all 10 paid up, and wherein some of the large businesses are quoting at 200 crores, 300 crores market cap. So recently I picked 2 stocks personally. One was Shalimar, and another one was Orient Ceramics. These stocks have moved up. I'm not telling people to buy now. Please don't buy. So moved up significantly in a few days. So people may go wrong in making a target for this kind of stocks. And some of these businesses are very relevant for the future, large in size. Still, they are traded like penny stocks. Because of the recent numbers, the last few years, these companies were not growing. Some of them were not giving dividends. Some of them are struggling because of the industry environment. So that is the space where, the turnaround can happen and reward you with 5 times and 10 times wealth.
Okay, Porinju, of course. Thanks a lot for joining us. You have identified some multi-baggers in the last 3 or 4 years, and your PMS investors would hope that you'll continue with that. Thanks a lot for joining us today. That's the